Good morning, Year 4. It is Monday, the 18th of May. And on a Monday, we read as a reader. So we've got a new text today, and this is still an extract from the zoo. So I'm going to read it to you if you would like to follow along. Suddenly, through the layers of glass that formed the winding tunnel, the scouts saw movement. Something had entered the room, something big and white. From where she stood, Ella could see around the corner. A moment later, her face turned pale. Guys. A new sound filled the exhibit. Roar! What is that? Noah said. Before she could reply, the head of a huge polar bear emerged at the opening of the tunnel. The bear snarled, swung its snout from side to side, and fixed its black eyes on the scouts. Noah tried to say something, but only a flat, meaningless sound came out. The bear threw back its head and roared. Its tongue looked like a slab of meat. Its ivory fangs were razor sharp. Noah glanced into the pool. Only one bear was out there. It was Frosty, the smaller bear, which meant this was Blizzard. Somehow Blizzard had entered the tunnel. The scouts stood frozen in place. Noah's friends looked like statues. Ella nervously broke the silence, whispering, "Hey, Richie, any good jokes? We can tell it." "Don't move," warned Noah. "Just keep perfectly still." Blizzard stepped out of the room and into the tunnel. Water dribbled off his fur and formed large puddles on the floor. He closed to within 10 feet of the children and rolled his daunting head. Wow. Okay, so what I've done for you, as I usually do, just move that up, is my questions, I think, and I wonder. So I've looked at the text, and it's a really interesting text. You know that I love the word interesting. It's full of exciting language features, which we are going to be looking at later on in the week. But what I've put here is I wonder, I've put in purple at the top up here. So the sentence is, suddenly through the layers of glass that formed the winding tunnel, the scouts saw movement. Something had entered the room. So at that stage, right at the beginning of the text, we don't know what something is. So I have put there, I wonder what the movement was. Was something, which is described there because we don't know, human or not? Because it doesn't tell us whether it's human, it's just saying something. So we don't have a clue from that word something what it is, whether it's alive or not. Further down here, I've put my question, how did it emerge? Because the part of the sentence is, before she could reply, the head of a huge polar bear emerged at the opening of the tunnel. And what I would like to know there is, how did it emerge? Emerge just means that it's appeared. But how did it appear? Did it emerge quickly? Did it angrily emerge? Did it slowly emerge out of the blue? Did it warily emerge? Because maybe it was scared as well. We don't know that. So that would be my question there. Here I've put I think in red. And it says here, Noah tried to say something, but only a flat, meaningless sound came out. Okay, why was it a meaningless sound? And I think that sound came out. I think this happened because he was scared. He couldn't even think of words. I think he got like brain freeze. I think he was just really frightened and he just made a noise. Probably he wasn't even aware that he'd made that noise. I've put I wonder here, and I put a line so you know what I've got here. And it said, the bear threw back its head and roared. Its tongue looked like a slab of meat. So I've put there, I wonder why the tongue is described as a slab of meat. Why couldn't it be described as something else? And the only reason that I can think of perhaps it was described as a slab of meat, I've put, I think it's because it may be red and thick. Because you imagine a slab of meat, it's not saying a fillet of meat or a steak or a dainty piece of meat. It says a slab, which gives you the impression it's just lolling about and thick and red. Here I've put a question, another question here, and it says, don't move, Noah warned, just keep perfectly still. So my question here is, why didn't they just run? Why didn't they just turn around and run? If they were fearful, why didn't they run? Why did he suggest that they just keep still? So I've put here, I think they didn't run because it would alert the animal maybe to run after them. Or maybe they thought if they were still, it wouldn't frighten the animal and it would pass them by knowing they meant him no harm. So if they kept perfectly still, maybe they thought that they would just blend into the background and the animal wouldn't be nervous by them or see their movement and would think that they meant him no harm. So they are my questions, I think, and I wonder. There's absolutely huggings in here for you to get your teeth into, to have a think about things. So that's what I would like you to do today. So in your science book, if you've still got enough room, you could just write your questions, I think, and I wonder. And you could write me one of each, or maybe more. I tried to put a couple of examples for you. And there are other things that you could think about. You could almost think about, why is blizzard called blizzard? Yeah, maybe that's something to think about, because you could think about, I wonder why it's called that, and maybe you could think of an answer, and frosty as well. Okay, Year 4. Well done on what you're about to achieve, and your Year 4 teachers look forward to seeing that. Okay, have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye for now.